what was the meaning of the Rolling Stones at this point?
Jagger was saying, actually, Keith Richards is the sound of the Stones. Mick Taylor wasn't really a Stone at all. But
yeah, you got satin shoes.
Mick and Keith not really working together as songwriters. Some of the songs I helped write, a few anyway. I never saw it as a lifetime thing. No, never. I just thought, well, I don't want to do this anymore. It really wasn't a big deal to me, leaving the Stones.
When you got the gig with the Rolling Stones, did you have to think twice?
No.
Mick Taylor, a name synonymous with guitar mastery and rock and roll legend, left an indelible mark on the iconic band, the Rolling Stones. Mick Taylor's incredible guitar work is featured on 5 Rolling Stones studio albums: Let It Bleed, 1969, Sticky Fingers, 1971, Exile on Main Street, 1972, Goat's Head Soup, 1973, and It's Only Rock and Roll, 1974.
And actually, we signed a new recording deal with Atlantic Records for 5 or 6 albums.
When Mick Taylor joined the Rolling Stones in 1969 after Brian Jones's departure, it was a whirlwind experience.
I got a call from John Mayall saying that he'd heard that the Rolling Stones were looking for a guitar player to replace Brian Jones because they were not only finishing an album, but they wanted to go on the road again. They hadn't done anything for 2 or 3 years, and they were about to sign a new recording deal with Atlantic Records, and they needed somebody to replace Brian Jones.
Then they needed to really get their career back on track because they hadn't really done much for a couple of years and were actually in danger of splitting up. So they needed to find a guitar player desperately, and they sort of more or less asked me to join.
And so I became part of the band.
Replacing the late Brian Jones, Taylor brought a fresh, bluesy sound to the band. His tenure, though relatively brief, was a golden era for the band, marked by unparalleled musical brilliance and creativity.
I suppose even though they'd had a lot of success, they'd had a lot of hit records, they never really had the reputation of being a great live band. They'd never done any big major tours where they'd been able to play for more than about 20 or 25 minutes. So when I joined them, it became a different type of band.
We were playing in stadiums that were, full. You sort of glanced back over the amplifiers and you could see the limousines bouncing, because the energy in the stadium was electric.
To me, the real interest in playing guitar is to play guitar with another guy. 2 guitars together, if you get it right, it can become like an orchestra. And Mick Taylor's virtuoso.
His phenomenal playing can also be heard on the live album Get Your Yayas Out, recorded over 4 nights at New York's Madison Square Garden in 1969. Mick Taylor brought fresh energy to the Rolling Stones, adding a fluidity and spontaneity they hadn't experienced before.
In 1969, that was the beginning, really, of when lots of groups started to tour the world and play in big arenas, big sports stadiums with big sound systems where you could actually hear what they were playing. And so, you know, it did become a much better band.
Within a few weeks, Jagger was saying, actually, Keith Richards is the sound of the Stones. Mick Taylor wasn't really a Stone at all. But, and in a way, at the time, we undervalued him, I think. But listening back, he contributed so much, and he saw the Stones through that period with his very elegant, virtuoso playing, which I think was crucial at that time when everyone was looking towards, you know, progressive rock and rock being almost on a classical status.
You know, as is well known, you know, now, that period was probably one of their most productive and creative. We made some great albums.
His virtuosity brought a new level of excitement to the band's music. Many fans and critics consider Taylor's time with the Stones as their golden era, a sentiment Mick Jagger himself has echoed. In a 1995 interview with Rolling Stone magazine, Jagger said, "I think he had a big contribution. He made it very musical. He was a very fluent, melodic player, which we never had, and we don't have now. Neither Keith nor Ronnie Wood plays that sort of style. It was very good for me working with him. I could sit down with Mick Taylor and he would play very fluid lines beneath my vocals. He was exciting, and he was very pretty, and it gave me something to follow, to bang off. Some people think that's the best version of the band that existed."
Mick was very much a solo player, incredible melodic sensitivity about his playing.
Over the years, it's just acquired a kind of magical glow. Probably because of the way it was recorded, the rawness of it, the edginess of it.
On most of those early Stones records, and you know, the big ones, there's probably 6, 7, 8 guitars sometimes on those tracks, but you wouldn't know it.
They still had this hunger to sort of create good music and make good records. So we used to try and make one record every year, and we pretty much did.
Mick Taylor contributed so much, from the guitar meshing from Honky Tonk Women, Sticky Fingers, I think he vaguely co-wrote Sway, He's All Over Exile, Ventilator Blues, he got a co-credit.
Taylor's first track with the Stones was Live With Me, where his influence is immediately felt in the fast-paced stack-style rhythm.
And so I did go down there and played on Live With Me from Let It Bleed.
On Honky Tonk Women, his sultry and slinky blues lines blend perfectly with Keith Richards' groove-laden riffs.
Played on Honky Tonk Women.
She tried to take me upstairs for the ride.
Taylor truly made his mark during the Stones' 1969 U.S. tour from November 7th to December 6th. His playing on the live album Get Your Ya-Ya's Out captures this period beautifully. Like Peter Green, Taylor's playing is full of melodicism, with memorable motifs woven into expressive, free-form solos. He's also a fantastic slide player, as showcased on Love in Vain. On the lively and infectious shuffle of Midnight Rambler, Mick Taylor delivers searing lines on his '58 Sunburst Les Paul. In the outro of Sympathy for the Devil, he adds real groove and attack, driving the song forward with his fiery lead guitar. Listening to this album now, the Stones sound powerful and unbridled, with Taylor's guitar work being a key part of that renewed energy. Keith Richards even mentioned in his book, Life, Mick Taylor being in the band on that '69 tour certainly sealed the Stones together again.
You got to move.
In 1969, the Rolling Stones had transformed into a rock band, but their mid-'60s pop sensibilities still influenced their arrangements and structure. Mick Taylor helped change that, bringing in jazz elements and a looser, more adventurous feel.
You got to move.
At the end of the '69 tour, we went to Muscle Shoals and we cut Wild Horses, Brown Sugar, and You Gotta Move, which are great tracks. During those recording sessions, or just before, somebody must have put it to somebody in the Stones organization that we went to Altamont to do a free concert.
You got to move.
It was never planned to be part of the 1969 tour.
Taylor's first real studio contribution was on Sticky Fingers, 1971. Keith Richards recalled Taylor's impact on that album in his autobiography, Life. So, we did Sticky Fingers with him, and the music changed, almost unconsciously. You write with Mick Taylor in mind, maybe without realizing it, knowing he can come up with something different. You've got to give him something he'll really enjoy, not just the same old grind. Sticky Fingers is an album that blends blues, country, and southern soul, and it's full of Taylor highlights. His lead playing on Sway has a real swagger, while his country licks on Dead Flowers are impeccable. Can't You Hear Me Knocking is arguably the album's centerpiece and the perfect showcase for Mick Taylor's amazing talent. Can't You Hear Me Knocking came out flying, Keith Richards recalled. We're thinking, hey, this is some groove. The real highlight of the track is the extended jam, which stretches the song from its original 2:43 to an epic 7:14. This was a happy accident.
Like that? Jay like it.
After the supposed ending, the band kept playing and the tape kept rolling, capturing Taylor's masterful performance. He starts picking out a repetitive Latin-flavored motif on his walnut-brown Gibson ES-3435 through an Ampeg VT22 amp. Towards the end of the song, I just felt like carrying on playing, Taylor says. It sounded good, so everybody quickly picked up their instruments again and carried on playing. It just happened. It's a majestic improvised solo with a Santana-like feel, dipping and diving between bold phrasing and beautifully judged melodicism. At 6:02, he veers into a raunchy, repetitive pattern, which Charlie Watts and the horn section spontaneously accentuate with pushes. I tried to bring my own distinctive sound and style to Sticky Fingers, and I like to think I added some extra spice, said Taylor. I don't want to say sophistication. I think that sounds pretentious. Charlie said I brought finesse. That's a better word. I'll go with what Charlie said.
They had to go and almost implode in a way.
They were getting away from, running away from England.
Why did they, so they literally got booted out.
What year was it? 72?
I know the folklore, obviously.
A sense of being, you can't go home. You can't go home. And I think this music reflects that.
This will be a popular English rock and roll story.
bursting your
That whole period was incredibly creative for all of us.
ain't nobody short down
Mick Taylor, a name forever linked to the golden age of the Rolling Stones, was a true musical talent whose brilliance truly shone during his time with the band. His smooth guitar style and heartfelt improvisations added a fresh, dynamic layer to their sound. Taylor's playing is a bit more subdued on the stunning follow-up album, Exile on Main Street, recorded at Nelcote, the villa Keith Richards leased during the band's self-imposed tax exile on the French Riviera.
And so I hadn't earned enough money or done enough work on that level to have any kind of tax problems. But one of my most vivid memories is being flown there in our own private jet. I thought, my God, this is this is the high life. This is wonderful.
When people think of the Rolling Stones' iconic album Exile on Main Street, they often picture Keith Richards' gritty riffs or Mick Jagger's charismatic vocals. But there's another guitarist whose contributions are equally important, Mick Taylor. But his guitar work is a key part of what makes this album such a lasting masterpiece.
That whole period was incredibly intense because it was a new beginning for the band, and once we picked up our guitars, we were in our own world.
His playing perfectly complemented the Stones' raw, energetic style. On tracks like Ventilator Blues, Tumbling Dice, and Casino Boogie showcase his technical brilliance. While his subtle fills and rhythm work help anchor many of the album's tracks. Taylor's playing wasn't just about technical skill, he also brought an emotional depth to the music. His guitar lines often reflected the album's themes of exile, longing, and excess. On ballads like Sweet Virginia, and All Down the Line, his sensitive touch adds a layer of vulnerability to the Stones' music. His contributions to Exile on Main Street continue to inspire musicians and fans alike. Without Mick Taylor's extraordinary talent, Exile on Main Street wouldn't be the same. His playing is a vital part of the album's raw energy, emotional depth, and timeless appeal. During his 5 whirlwind years with the Stones, the band reached new heights of fame, producing some of their most legendary albums and touring non-stop.
We used to try and make one record every year, and we pretty much did. The first one was Let It Bleed, and then there was a live one, Get Your Yayas Out, and then there was Sticky Fingers, Exile on Main Street, Goat's Head Soup. There's about six or seven, major Stones albums that were done between 69 and 75, 76 while I was with them. I know that I'm a good guitar player. People have said to me that they were, inspired to learn the guitar from some of my previous work with the Stones, which is, it's like very flattering when people say that.
In a 1997 interview with Mojo, Taylor mentioned the issue of songwriting credits. "We used to fight and argue all the time. One thing I got angry about was that Mick had promised to give me some credit for some of the songs, and he didn't. I believed I'd contributed enough. Without my contribution, those songs wouldn't have existed. Not many, but enough. like Sway and Moonlight Mile on Sticky Fingers and a couple of others.
And I think a lot of that has had to do with Mick and Keith not really working together as songwriters. I mean, the song still said Jagger Richards, but they weren't really written like that. I mean, some of the songs I helped write, a few anyway.
The Stones faced some criticism for their next album, Goat's Head Soup, which was recorded in Jamaica. However, Billboard magazine praised Taylor for his superb guitar work on the album. He continued to shine on his final album with the band, It's Only Rock and Roll.
Right around the time of Goat's Head Soup and It's Only Rock and Roll, you really began to wonder about, what was the meaning of the Rolling Stones at this point.
And then even It's Only Rock and Roll, when you felt that he was being nudged out a little bit, he does this wonderful Carlos Santana-style guitar solo on Time Waits for No One.
Taylor's favorite moment with the Stones was during the recording of the track Time Waits for No One. I love that solo, Taylor told Damien Finelli of Guitar World in May 2012. I think it's probably the best thing I did with the Stones. It's not one of their hits. It was an album track. But it's quite lyrical and a bit different from a lot of other Stones songs. I'd done something that I'd never done before. The structure of the song pushed my guitar playing in a slightly different direction. In his autobiography, Life, Keith Richards admits he was sometimes in awe of Taylor's playing, praising his melodic touch, beautiful sustain, and way of reading a song.
Mick Taylor opened up some beautiful possibilities, and especially in recording, because I would just lay down 3 or 4 different rhythm guitars.
However, Richards also noted that Taylor was very distant.
Like I said, towards the end of the period I was with them, I think I got a little, for whatever reason, disillusioned with it a little bit, and a little bit bored. And being the sort of a very impulsive type of person I was and still am a little bit, I just thought, well, I don't want to do this anymore.
For me, I have mixed feelings about the Rolling Stones, because on the one hand, I love them, and in another way, I hate them. It's a love-hate relationship with me. Always will be.
In 1974, Mick made the tough decision to leave the Rolling Stones.
It really wasn't a big deal to me, leaving the Stones.
I had no idea why he left the band. It was the stupidest idea I ever heard. And he never told me really the reason.
A lot of people think I'm crazy for leaving. People are constantly saying to me, "Why didn't you just stay where you were? You could have been a millionaire by now." I never really looked at it that way. Well, you don't when you're young and idealistic.
Mick Jagger was at Eric Clapton's birthday party when Mick Taylor leaned over and told him he was leaving the Rolling Stones. It was December 12th, 1974, and as Jagger, Taylor, and the other guests watched a fireworks display, a shocked Jagger turned to Ronnie Wood and asked, "Do you think he was serious?" Taylor was indeed serious. This decision had been a long time coming.
I was there at a party, sitting between Mick Taylor and Mick Jagger, when Taylor leaned across and he said to Jagger, "I'm leaving the band." And Mick went, "What?" He said, "Is he serious?" I said, "I think he is, Mick." So Mick Taylor said, "Yes, I am," and he got up and walked out.
I mean, to me, being a rock star and being celebrated because you're famous is not enough. I mean, these days there's a whole cult of being a celebrity. You can be a celebrity just because you're in the newspapers, but I think people should be celebrated for what they actually achieve in music or art or literature, or I think they should be celebrated for what they do, not for how famous they are.
When Mick Taylor announced his departure, Jagger said he was very, very disappointed by it. I think it really shocked the band.
I think after 5.5 years, I really had enough. I can't give you one overriding reason for leaving, except I can't really say it was totally down to being frustrated artistically. I didn't feel that I could grow anymore, either as a person or as a musician.
Jagger, in a 1995 interview with Rolling Stone, mentioned that friction between Taylor and Keith Richards was also a factor. I think he found it difficult to get on with Keith. Whatever the reasons, the reality was that the Stones were losing a remarkably talented player. Taylor's fluid and emotive playing had elevated the band to new heights, just as the band was transformed when he joined. It was equally transformed when he left, a testament to his incredible talent.
So his contributions, I think, were immense in that way, and we almost didn't realise until he'd gone, what he weaved into the fabric of the Stones.
Reflecting on Taylor's contribution 24 years later in the 1998 book The Rolling Stones, A Life on the Road, Charlie Watts shared his thoughts. "I think we chose the right man for the job at that time, just as Ronnie was the right man for the job later on," he said. "I still think Mick is great. I haven't heard or seen him play in a few years, but certainly what came out of playing with him are musically some of the best things we've ever done." When Mick Taylor left the Rolling Stones in 1974, it left a significant void. The band considered several potential replacements, including Ry Cooder and Rory Gallagher, to fill the gap left by Taylor's blues-infused virtuosity. Ultimately, they decided not to replicate Taylor's style, but instead opted for a different vibe and personality with Ronnie Wood.
How you doing?
When you got the gig with the Rolling Stones, did you have to think twice?
No.